What I want to see... Oh, okay, this wins. This wins by a long shot. This is a game changer for $400 floorboards. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm going to give you guys my first impressions of the Headrush MX5. I will feature this in some shootouts or reviews, or if you guys want to see something else or you have any suggestions, let me know down in the comments below. But today we are just going to build a patch with this thing, navigate around it. I'm going to show you some of the features, and we're just going to get an overall first impression on it. First impression of the first impression video. There's a power switch, which is not incredibly common among lower priced modelers, so that's pretty cool. It's not latching either. Oh, look at that touchscreen, man. Jesus Christ, that looks nice. It almost looks like a logo for a race car or something. For this video, I'm going to be using my Ibanez 𝗔𝗳𝗬𝗠𝗏 with Fishman Fluence modern pickups in it. And it also has a hip shot bridge. It doesn't have the original Ibanez bridge, if that matters to you. Okay, so actually what we want to do here is let's build a new rig, discard the changes to that rig. So now we have a completely blank slate here, and the touchscreen is really, really responsive so far. Here, let's see if we can actually use this tuner though first. I think to use the tuner, we hold that guy down, yes. Oh look, I'm in drop A. How's your guys' day going? Sounds like nothing. Let's build a rig here. I'm just gonna select one of these blocks sort of like in the middle so that way we don't have to move them around later. That way we can have both pre and post effects. And here are the amps we have. We have some Tangerine, that's probably an orange, 59 Deluxe Gain Mod, Tweed Bass, Tweed Deluxe, Tweed Prince, Black Lux Norm, Black Lux Vibrato. If you're a guy who's looking for a ton of clean amps, this is definitely your thing. Let's go with one I'm very familiar with, the PV5152 lead. For some reason, it's paired it with a 2x12 silver cone. That's not what we're gonna want. 4x12s, we have classic 30 watt, 65 watt, green 25 watt, green 20 watt. Not a ton of 4x12 cabinets either, but you can load your own impulse responses. I'll bypass the cabinet here in a second so that you can hear it with third-party IRs, but let's check out the built-in cabinets for the time being. We're just gonna go with a 4x12 classic 30 watt. It's got a little picture there, which is pretty cool. It looks like a Marshall. Let's see what different microphone types we have. Dynamic 7, that's probably an SM7B. A 57, sure, SM57 more likely. 409, 421. Condenser 67, condenser 87, condenser 414, and a ribbon 121. Pretty good microphone selection here. All the classics. Let's go with a 421. Okay, and something that I actually think is pretty cool, you don't have control over like the position of the microphone, which can actually be kind of a good thing because I know that confuses a lot of people, especially beginners, which is definitely what the Headrush MX5 is geared towards with its $400 price point. But you do have the ability to put it on or off axis. We're gonna leave it on, and then we have a Breakup here. What does Breakup do? Okay, so what it sounds like the Breakup is sort of simulating is like pulling the microphone away from the cabinet a little bit. So you do have some good control here, but I know that a lot of times, if you haven't mic'd up an actual cabinet, giving the user the option of using like an X and Y axis, they probably don't really know where they should be putting the microphone in the first place, so it's not super helpful. You know what, I'm just gonna set this up the way that I would set up my actual 5150. So we have high, low, mid controls. Let's see if we have, oh, we do have resonance and presence knobs. Definitely less gain than my actual 5150 head here. So I had my gain there at almost 30%, and that would be plenty on the actual amp, but this seems to be a lot lower gain, so we're gonna turn it up there. And then another thing is you have these colors down here, and what the colors do is they actually change the color that corresponds with the pedal that's down here. So if you wanted to have this like pink or orange, or red. You can change that right down here. This is pretty neat. Let's go ahead and save this guy. Oh my gosh, the keyboard is so small, I gotta type this with my right hand. And of course, let's throw a boost in front of this guy here. I mean, you guys know what you're tuning in for. So that would be in the distortion tab here. These are the different boosts we have here. White boost, green, JRC, overdrive, DC distortion, black op, tri-fuzz, 8-bit crush, anxiety OD, D1 distortion, round fuzz, K-drive, MX distortion. It's definitely hard to tell what these things are emulating off the names alone, but we're gonna go with this green OD, which is probably gonna be a tube screamer. And then it loads up a bunch of different presets for you if you wanna just, click the preset button. And you can see off this little icon here, it definitely looks like a tube screamer, maybe the 808 variant. And let's just dial this like that. Let's make it green also just to match Tube Screamer. And you can see it actually changes the color of the pedal icon on the main screen too, which is a really nice touch. Let's hear what that sounds like. Definitely sounds similar to a boosted 5150, and the internal cabinet sounds really good too. Here, let's bypass it and I will throw an IR on in post just so that you can hear what that sounds like. Here's the cab bypassed. I will put what IR I'm using down on the bottom of the screen there. Now this does also have an effects loop if you want to include it in your board and you already have some effects that you really like, or if you want to use the 4-cable method with the amplifier. And if you're not sure what the 4-cable method is, I will link a video for that in the description. And yes, this pedal does take MIDI via an included adapter from, your standard MIDI pin to 1/8" jack. It's 1/8". There's a ton of really good valuable options inside of this modeler. Again, the touchscreen is super responsive and just really nice to set up something with. I can see why people really like the Headrush products because if I'm not mistaken, I think they were one of the first ones to actually start incorporating touchscreens into their devices. Let's maybe check out another one of these high gain amps here. Let's check out this Mark II up here. Let's see how Metallica-ish it is. Let's turn this gain down here a little bit. Maybe boost these mids. Let's see what other options we have on this amplifier. Man, this thing sounds beast. Let's go ahead and check out a couple more of the cabinets too. So that is the 30-watt 4x12. Let's check out the 65-watt 4x12. Maybe turn the microphone off axis. Check out the green 25-watt. Put the microphone back on axis. Again, even though there's not a huge 4x12 selection, they all sound pretty good. That works really well. If you're finding that these cabinets are a little bit too tinny for you, just try flipping the axis on the microphone and that really thickens it up quite a bit there. I really like this one. This one sounds good. I'm really impressed with this thing so far. I think it sounds excellent. And again, coming in at $400, kind of hard to beat it, man. I mean, I feel like most of the floorboards that are in that $400 price range, you have to sacrifice something, whether it's less ins and outs, like it doesn't have MIDI or something like that. Maybe it doesn't have the touch screen. You don't have to sacrifice any of that with the Headrush. It has everything you could probably be looking for in a floorboard. What I want to see... Oh, okay, this wins. This wins by a long shot. You can split your signal chain, meaning that you can run 2 separate rigs at the same time. This is a game changer for $400 floorboards. I'm telling you, I've tried the majority of them, and in general, they don't do this. All right, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna try and set up a patch. It's something that I really actually like setting up normally, and it's mixing a JCM800 and a Mesa dual rectifier, so we're gonna go tread. They even give you the specific here, it's a 92 dual rectifier. It's pretty interesting. Okay, so this is how I ended up setting it up. I have a cabinet in each one of these signal chains, an amp in each one of these signal chains, and they're both being boosted by their own tube screamers, kind of with their own settings there, and this is what you get. Pretty cool effect, although in full transparency, I was having some problems getting these things dialed in together and to play nicely. Normally I don't have that sort of issue if I was doing something similar in like the Axe effects or something like that. So it does take some playing around and getting used to dialing them in and messing with different settings, but I think the end result is pretty cool. And also it's just really awesome that you can split the signal path like that. That's something you typically don't see, again, on modelers in this price range. I think the most inexpensive modeler that I know of that does it is probably the HX Stomp, and you run out of DSP much quicker with the HX Stomp. Like, I definitely would not be able to build this same exact signal chain in the HX Stomp running it this way. Let's actually throw some tape echo on there and maybe some reverb. Not really a beautiful sound, but I could definitely not do that inside of the HX Stomp. I think that's really awesome, and we're not encountering any DSP issues or anything like that. Now, one of the downsides is this is a metal top, and it does have a plastic body underneath, but to be honest with you, that's not something that would really matter to me. Maybe it does matter to you, maybe you want a full metal chassis for your floorboard, but you know, to each their own. It's also pretty heavy for how small and compact it is, and I'm just attributing that to all of the technology that's in here, you know, how much stress we could put on the DSP without maxing it out, all of the in and out options, all of those things. The only thing I really dislike about it, and it's the same with all of these floorboards, is this small pedal right here. I would just much rather have a larger touchscreen or an extra foot switch or something like that rather than these dinky little expression pedals that just feel kind of weird when you step on them. But I totally get why they put them in there, because at $400, you can have a complete rig in a box that you can throw in your gig bag, and it sounds awesome. All right, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If there's anything you'd like to see with the Headrush MX5, again, let me know down in the comments below. Make sure you hit that like button, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys. Man, another sad one. I gotta get better at flicking pics, man.